To my little beauties, may you always remember these little silly stories. All my love, Dado. February 2009. The Cows and the Radio, a Revoczi family classic by Aaron, Elise, and Tomasz Revoczi. Once upon a time, there were 5 cows named Achy, Shaky, Flaky, Bakey, and Bob. One day, as they were eating grass out in the pasture, they noticed a little wind. It wasn't very strong, so they ignored it. But then suddenly, the farmer's dog came running and was shouting, "Cows, cows, cows! We have to get into the barn! There's a storm coming!" The cows replied, "Really? We don't believe you. Do you have any evidence?" To this, the dog said nothing. He thought to himself, "Crazy cows!" Then he turned and ran to see the farmer. When he found the farmer, he explained that the cows didn't want to go into the barn until they had some evidence of the storm. The farmer thought for a moment and then said, "Here, why don't you take this radio to the cows and let them listen to the news reports and the weather reports so they'll believe you about the storm coming." "Great idea," said the dog, and ran back to see the cows. When he arrived, he turned on the radio and said, "Listen to this." The cows listened and listened and listened, and eventually they said, "Okay, we understand about the storm now. What should we do?" The dog said, "Okay, everyone, follow me," and he turned and ran all the way to the barn. The cows ran as fast as they could to keep up with him. When they got to the barn, the farmer was waiting for them with the doors wide open. The dog ran in and the cows followed him. Then the farmer took his big keys, closed the door, and then locked himself into the barn with the animals. By this time the wind was really strong and was whistling all around the barn, shaking the doors and windows. The animals inside were getting a bit scared by the big noises outside, but the cows had an idea. They said, "Hey everyone, let's listen to the radio. It will tell us when the storm will be over." Everyone thought that was a good idea, the chickens especially. They turned the radio on, and everyone listened and listened and listened to the radio. They heard the news reports and weather reports about the storm getting smaller and smaller. There was even some Christmas music, which helped them feel much better. Soon the storm was over, so they turned the radio off. It was really quiet outside, so the farmer went to the door. He unlocked it, opened it, and took a little peek outside. Then he smiled. The farmer's dog, curious to know why he was smiling, pushed the door open a little further with his nose, and then he smiled too. The cows, curious to know what all this smiling was about, said, "We can't stand this anymore. Let us look outside too." Then they ran to the door and pushed it wide open with their noses, and do you know what they saw? A beautiful rainbow, and lots of puddles to jump in, and big fat raindrops on the dry summer grass for them to drink as they ate. Yum, slurp, yum! Everyone was really happy. Every day after that, the farmer's dog came to see the cows in the field with the farmer's radio. They listened to the nice music, sometimes they sang and danced along. They listened to the news, weather, and sports, and learned many good things, but best of all, they got to be good friends with the farmer's dog, and that's how they lived happily ever after. The end. Le fin.